like, what exactly is this setting up for? Because they haven't revealed. You probably don't want to go like a last phase Razor. Maybe it's just a bit
10
of a block
seconds
pick. Like
remaining.
it now means that you can't go XYZ. You've already
5
got rid of the
seconds
Faceless Void, which
remaining.
is one of those good heroes at being able to deal with the Razor. Just anyone with some kind of movement ability, whether it be like a PA or something like that, is always good. And I mean, you can go an early build up into something like a Yule Scepter, so you do have set up for things like the arrow and the boat and all that sort of stuff.
I think this
It's
is a.
okay, but
I think they're gonna put the Razor mid and flex the Conquer. Like they will
Dire
guarantee
team
one good
pick.
matchup versus the Ember. And
Enchantress.
if Army Geniuses go for a hard carry, like, because now it really limits the hero pool on what you can go for, and their supports are pretty. They don't have a built-in way to kite the Razor as much. Grimstroke, Soulbind, sure. But like
10
Sky doesn't have
seconds
too much of a
remaining.
way, and even then Grimstroke is still a little bit limited. So I think it's just they're
5
really going
seconds remaining.
into the capability of flex. I'm not too much of a fan of the Enchantress, though. I thought they were gonna go support, but I thought it was gonna be someone with a stun, because that's big issues that they have right now. But their lanes are super strong, so that's one thing. I think Nigma Galaxy always have. They're really high mechanically gifted players, and when you have really strong lanes, they can use that lead and just run over a game.
I kind of want to see Army Geniuses leave the last pick for Wami this time around, because outside of this Razor, this is a pretty good Night Stalker game. And I just want to make sure that, like, once they have a better understanding of what the lanes are going to be like, it just provides that frontline presence that you're able to combine with the Grimstroke. It sets up for things like the Skywrath Mage to do a lot as well. And, you know, you can just fly
Radiant
over trees. You're
team
not scared
ban.
about getting static linked or anything like that. They're gonna go Mars. It's fine. I mean, it just gives them another way to look to escape. It gives easy-ish setup for the Skywrath Mage as well. Don't hate it.
Enchantress is very annoying for the laning stage though versus the Mars.
Yeah,
Like you don't have a
true.
way to kill off the creep.
10 seconds
Uh,
remaining.
it's a honestly it can be very very awkward for the Mars to play
5
into that
seconds
matchup.
remaining.
So
I mean, this could just be a Razor 1. Like, sure, you can spear
yeah,
him away, but still could.
and I mean Razor can take objectives with Refresher Ag, so you're not really concerned if you put the Razor as a 1 having a hero that can't take towers. I think maybe their scaling potential could be in question. But again, you just go now for some team fighting
Dire
offlaner
team
that can
ban.
start fights. Sand King is
Mm.
always going to be high on the possibility
Radiant
just because
team
the
Yeah,
ban.
Marana.
that's at a premium for sure. Marana, good instant stun for the Ember Spirit as well. If you're able to get it onto the Mars, you know, all that magic damage, assuming that he doesn't have the BKB for himself, is going to quickly be able to burst through him. I'd like the Sand King overall.
I think
10 seconds
Sorry, what
remaining.
were you saying?
I was just going to say if
Five
they think about
seconds remaining.
initiation slash save aspect, Legion could be a
Dire
possibility
team
too.
ban.
Chains, and I think the Mystic Flare setup is really nice, and then you've got the Jewel as well for the Conquer. More importantly, the Marana Arrow. I think you want something that's a little bit
But then how would you
lower of a
lane though?
cooldown. You lane Legion Marana, and then you go.
Oh,
10
okay. So you're
seconds
saying like
remaining.
the purge for the Searing Chains,
5
as opposed to
seconds
setting up for the
remaining.
Mystic Flare. Because I was about to say, like, if you've got a Legion commander prior to
Radiant
BKB, you're kind
team
of
pick.
assuming you're not dueling the Skywrath Mage. You're setting yourself up to get Mystic Flared yourself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's a little bit awkward, but
Dire team
um,
pick.
they're going to go
Okay.
for
Phantom
a
Assassin.
PA. Okay. So
Still a lot
I
of
mean,
flex. A lot of flex on the cards.
is there?
Well, where do you think the Razor and Conquer are then? Who would you put as a 3?
Mm, I
10 seconds
probably
remaining.
put. Uh,
5 seconds
I'd put
remaining.
Razor mid. I'd say for
Okay.
now, just to be up against the Ember Spirit again. It's just about denying his farm as much as possible, because he still does need to be that big playmaker to be able to start out this game. And Army Geniuses, they're going to have the last pick overall to be able to go into this one. They've banned out the Bloodseeker, which is great. I think it's something that they absolutely needed.
You may now select your heroes.
It's all right. I mean, it's a good way to get through the PA, of course, with the shotgun if you're able to get it early enough. Same sort of thing with Mizu. They actually do end up running Alacrity in the mid lane on the Kunkka. mean, he did have a pretty good performance in game number 1, but
They look to be experimenting. I don't know what this draft is, honestly, from Radiant. Like, I'm trying to see the reason why they picked the Razor, if they were going to put it... Like, so I really want them to win, just so I can ask, like, when you picked the Razor, were you initially thinking of it being played as a 3? Because they picked it 16th, they had 16th, 17th, so they picked it into Grimstroke, Ember, and Sky. Like, what was your thought process of going for this when you weren't seeing their safe lane, and you've still put him, like, as a 3? Like, this is...
you think they're gonna tell you that?
Well, I just want to know if they were initially thinking we were being a Razor 3 or not. That's all I want to know. I don't think we're going to get that opportunity because I think Army Geniuses are going to win. I think this is an incredible Morphling pick.
It's not as clear cut of an outdraft as game 2 though. It's still favorable, but it's not like 80% win probability, which was what I was kind of thinking for game 2's draft. Maybe they just wanted some sort of core that built into a Yule Scepter to enable this Mirana, because it didn't feel like they got too much at all out of Jokam that time around. And they just want to be playing a little bit more on the front foot, taking advantage of Kunkka and how aggressive he can be. All of those early times that you're able to pick up, like, you know, phase boots, armlet. Don't even know if he's got the armlet queued up here. It looks like he might even just be going into a super early BKB, already queuing up basically his entire item build for the whole game is Alacrity so far.
Are we... So we're both on board with Army Geniuses?
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Do it. Go Radiant. Pussy.
I mean, I do favor their draft, but like I said before, it's not...
You favor Radiant's draft?
No. I prefer Radiant's draft compared to last game.
Okay.
Like, it might be a...
So instead of like a 90-10 out draft, maybe it's like a 70-30. Okay, bit generous. Okay, sure. Well, we got a quick break in the action. Some of the Eastern European action will be kicking off as well on the second BTSN or BTS 2. They'll be following Windstrike and Gambit over there. So that's going to be a incredibly hype series as well. But why would you want to go over there? I know you might be a little bit of fans of Eastern Europe. You're waiting for that to kick off, but
this is the last Asian DPC game for the entire year. You gotta stay and watch it. We saw how entertaining games 1 and 2 were, particularly game 1. It felt like that could really go any which way. And this time around, it's looking to be a little bit more even on the draft front. But I do agree, Army Geniuses, they've got the better end of this draft. The Skywrath Mage seemed to make every single poster winner last time around, but I wonder if they might have a little bit more difficulty this time around, because they don't have that insane slow that they did last time around with the Broodmother combined together with a Mystic Flare. He's going to need to play around the Mars or the Ember Spirit in order to make that happen. And it's just a little bit more challenging to do that, considering just how fast the Brood's able to move around. But I am going to go Army Genius still in what would be a big upset from what we were expecting coming into today.
100%. I think everyone heading into it would have been like, Nigma Galaxy, thank you very much, sir. Take the 2-0, head into the break. You know, spirits all high, and well, Army Geniuses are pushed into a game 3, and well, they got a lineup to potentially secure that game 3. But it's just I mean, this is what happened in game 1. So honestly, a Fairy Fires, which is well, you give the kill as well over to Alacrity, so that's going to be very, very nice for the position 2 here. They miss out on the D ward, but keep in mind exactly what happened last game. For Danog and I, our predictions, we're not worried at all.
Not in the slightest. Never worried. But I wonder, like, when that Razor pick came out, I wonder if I haven't really been looking at chat that much lately, but I wonder if they had a field day just seeing it was a Nigma draft, and you know, Kuroki has been known to pick some unorthodox position 5 Razors in his time.
Wasn't there some weird position 5 picked recently in, I think, Dota Pit? Not Dota Pits. Dota Pit OGA? Yeah. Me saying that, like, there's 100 plus heroes, so that probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I swear there was some weird one. You're really supposed to watch every single game where you can be like, oh, it was that hero. I understand what you're speaking about. So, talk to me about
I always see you in chat, so...
Yeah, I like, you know, going around saying hi to everyone. That's nice. Some interaction. Talking about
Spamming your
this.
Kezu subs.
Oh my Kezu subs and the Kezu 1 and Kezu 2, it's a blast. You love it. And I don't in BTS as well, I don't have slow mode. So the power I have and what I've found out as well is in emote only I can type too. Big fan of that. You abusing my power.
Offside,
Top
arrow.
DB.
Oof. I mean, Jokem already is able to set up a whole lot more efficiently. We saw last time around Mizu, he didn't get a point in the lucky shot until quite late. And of course, you need to get right up there in the face to make sure that you get the slow from the shield crash. So this time around with the plasma field, it gives you that little bit of a slow there and just allows you for that easier setups with the arrow. As well, Jokem just getting that nice and early level 2 there. Is going to be consistently looking to just poke and prod against Fariz.
So how do you feel like this bottom lane is going to fare between the cores at the moment with Wami and In Your Dream? Is there one that you feel like will get a little bit more farm out of the early stages?
I feel like in terms of farm, Wami should be doing just fine, but I feel like Lim is always going to be in a bit of a rough spot, right? He's gone into the Ring of Protection, which is a really good idea, because you're up against this PA who's going into the Orb of Corrosion. So already having the Blightstone means that your armor's reduced down to 0 immediately, and then of course Enchantress, one of the best heroes in the game at harassing in the laning stage. He's going on a bit of a hunt here for a good creep, and he's going to get that Dark Troll Summoner. Nice one for Paulson.
Mid looking even as we kind of come to expect with the matchup. Can get, I think it's the level 5, as long as Azura is done relatively well early on, then he should be fine once the Conquer's able to hit more points in Tidebringer. Just the resources is one of the bigger issues, because Alacrity can kind of always spam at a more rapid rate. But there's no real kill threat with Bow, because always you should be able to dodge the arrow as well if Jokem thinks about rotating. So I really feel like Azura is going to be fine here.
I think he is as well. Like later on, you're going to have some risk of dying, of course, when you get the Yule Scepter. Your Lim's probably dead here.
Poor Lim. It's a rough life. Wami's doing a really good job at actually pushing back the Phantom Assassin, but he's still got a creep to jump on forward. Lim's still going to try and turn around and dish out as much damage as possible before the death. But I think NGX.SEA, we sit, this bottom lane, a really, really good start for them.
And he's finished the Orb of Corrosion as well. So now the Skywrath is going to be in the negative armor areas here, as Paulson even looking to get a bit of a stack off on the enemy side of the map, just so that he can make sure that he picks up a nice creep for himself. Wild Ring Ripper, probably not the best one. But clearly Alacrity he puts a lot of emphasis into invading the enemy side of the map as well, just to try and take away those stacks too.
So I think the one
Step lively now.
guaranteed winning lane is going to be top. I mean, you've got... I struggle to see how they ever kill Morphling unless it's off the back of an arrow at nighttime, but I think more than likely... DB's actually going to, jump on forward here. And Mizu might be in a bit of trouble. He's got boots and wand. In fact, Fariz has now stepped over the line here, and Jokem's going to penalize his overpositioning. So, really nicely played from the Mirana there. And yeah, I don't think DB dies unless nighttime, but more than likely Army Genius is just going to place an Observer Ward down in the tree line. So Morphling will always see if that arrow comes out. So he should be free farming in this lane, and he's got a Linken's queued up. How do you feel about this?
On the Morphling?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it feels all right. They aren't exactly lacking that frontline presence, right? It feels like it's there, obviously, to protect him from the things like the static link. But I mean, if a PA joins in, that's pretty much wasted in terms of how much net worth you're expending for it. I was really thinking that he would have gone for an aggressive style build with the E-Blade as the first option, just to mean that regardless of if a PA is obviously going to be very evasive with the blur, or if you get static links, you're still able to dish out a good amount of damage just through your magic components.
Wami might be in a bit of trouble here. They're going to attempt to turn it back around on Paulson, making sure they can get all their abilities out before the death. Apollo will still keep his life, though sticks to the last second, and still microing his creeps to perfection as Lim. A Fairy Fire is not enough. This bottom lane continuing to go well. 5-0 start for the boys on Nigma NGX.SEA, and this is...
And this is the thing that, you don't like about the Skywrath mage, right? Is that This might be a free kill coming through from Azura being able to pick up a deposit. Never mind. Oh, he just claims that one. Thank you very much. But yeah, you're just so swishy, so killable. He's going into the Veil, which is going to provide him with at least a little bit of stats, but he hasn't bought any of the components for it just yet. I wonder if he... Does he go with the boots? I mean, against the Enchantress, it is kind of important just because she already has such a good base movement speed, and she's already built up into the boots herself. But, I don't know. I feel like the crown wouldn't be an awful idea either. It would prevent you from going into that negative armor.
Top lane. It's going to be Paulison making an early rotation. DB's already used waveform, so still on cooldown for a little bit of time. He could just TP out if he wants to now, but instead just going to continue to run back to the tower.
I think you're fine with expending his mana though, right? Like, he's gonna have the magic stick at least to be able to get back up to full for the use of the waveform, but I don't know. It feels like they're just heavily playing on the back foot here, and I mean, Ember Spirit's already been forced out of the lane. Even, you know, of course, an Ember Spirit, an Agi hero, he's got 6 armor. When you compare that to what we saw from the Void Spirit in game number 1, it's obviously a little bit more tanky, but despite that, it's already like over 1,000 net worth lead that Alacrity's been able to build up here.
Do you like that they've left In Your Dream solo though? Because I feel like now Mars can definitely play this lane. And if you especially get another hero with Arena, then I feel like Phantom Assassin's in trouble. Maybe they're just baiting though. You know, keeping Your Dream solo for quite some time. It gets Wummy feeling comfortable. And then all of a sudden, Alacrity shows up, drops the first combination of the game. And that's a second death here for the Mars.
Dire's top tower is under
Could have
attack.
potentially been a bit of a bait. I mean, they don't have any sort of super deep vision, and I was kind of thinking that maybe they were just going for that sort of play because they wanted this top tower gone. You know, you've obviously already got an Enchantress who's very survivable, and, you know, she's just looking to invade and take away a lot of the farm that...
Alacrity? This is a tough kill.
Dire's top
You're
tower
4 points in Flame Guard. You can Remnant on afterwards as well, which is going to do so under the tower, but with Arrow hitting the
Nice
mark on the
arrow.
Skywrath Mage, they'll still be able to clean up an Azura. You got some magic, sorry, you got some bottle charges to play with. Last Remnant as well is able to get out of dodge. Now that's a lot of rotations force, but it costs your life for your support and you lose pretty much all your resources.
Lost a lot of
Radiant's bottom
resources, and
tower
Mizu
is under
isn't
attack.
in any danger on the top side of the map as well. It feels like without that Skywrath Mage, at this point of the game, they're not going to be in a position to be able to kill him. You know, he's already got that Falcon Blade, nice
You're
early
a
pick up for
trusty
himself.
mate.
And I wonder how he's going to look to build it.
Azura. So gonna be in some form of trouble. Throne's gonna find the connection on multiple heroes, DB. He's able to get a little bit of distance close, and now Yokam's gonna be the next on the agenda here. He's got In Your Dream, Pulse into the backline as well. Not really much that the Phantom Assassin can do to provide assistance.
Alright,
In
he's out
fact,
of mana.
In Your Dream's gonna look to jump on forward. He's got enough for one last Remnant. But In Your
the
Dream's
impetus-
abilities are back up in the next couple of seconds. Needs to find a crit with the next Phantom Strike. The nighttime vision is going to be the issue. Zero, able to make it to the tree line. They guess the correct way, however. Cam goes right, Azura goes left.
Radiant's
It's going to be
bottom
having enough
tower
mana
is
shortly
under
with the
attack.
wand for that TPR. So Azura, very nicely done. He's out to safety, but it's a huge net worth lead for Radiant, all things considering. This Morphling lane has gone not as well as I was expecting. I don't know how he's behind the Razor.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's just a few too many times that they were able to land a great arrow onto Varese. That's the big difference maker, right? 2 deaths in this game. I don't think he died that much at all in the previous one as well. Yeah, 2 deaths in the entire previous game number 2. So it's just that laning stage, you know, it can end up snowballing into so
Dire's
much
top
more. And of
tower
course,
is
with a
under
Razor,
attack.
there's so much more of that kill threat super early on.
They might make attempt on Mizu. Zervaries, they don't actually want the kill at the moment. Phantom Assassin, something that they'd much prefer to find, but without anyone else showing up, they're like, alright, Mizu, if that's all we can get, then fine, we're happy with that one with the smoke, so Azura able to find a kill. I really want to see Army Geniuses put a lot of emphasis on Lim finding his level 6. He's only level 4 at the moment, and they are putting him mid. And they gave him the tome as well, so they recognize that Mystic Flare, you know, is 60-second cooldown. It's not too long at all. He can play with the Ember, he can play with the Mars, and maybe these pickoffs on the side lane could give them a bit of a path back in.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the 2 points in the Searing Chains on the Ember Spirit, and you don't do that unless you are very keen on being able to go for kills. You know, it's not a good thing for the laning stage to be able to deal with Kunkka. It doesn't help you to farm. The only reason is for kills. So if they're not able to capitalize on it, that's a lot of net worth that's being left on the deck. He's inadvertently just soaking up some experience in that mid lane. It brings him to level 7 at least. But yeah, Lim, it really needs to be a high priority that he looks to finish this one up. And I was wondering if Razor was going to go into the Yule Scepter first, but it looks like Falcon Blade, BKB. Honestly, third item refresher is what a lot of these Razors are doing, at least in pubs, just to be able to have that double use of the Eye of the Storm, have that double BKB, and be that real insane presence that no one can deal with.
Listen, just gonna run straight to the Ember and the Grimstroke. Azura definitely stacking up the damage. He was one of the few heroes on Army Geniuses that hadn't had any casualties early at this stage of the game. So he's 2-0-1 and doing very well in the regards to the net worth. And all of Dire cutting this deficit. I mean, Mars has gone for a lot of small statty items, Soul Ring, Wand, Bracer. So the Blink is about halfway there now, but Wami's been occupying bottom for quite some time. So he'll have Blink probably in about 2 minutes 30.
It doesn't seem like they're all that concerned about this Mars having a lot of farm, right? Because even if he goes into that Blink Dagger, you've got a PA that can jump out of it, you've got a Mirana that can jump out of it, and you're going first item BKBs on this Kunkka and the Razor. So you're like, well, if Enchantress dies, great, you've used 2200 net worth and an ultimate to be able to kill out position 5. I think they're totally cool with that, and they're kind of reading what Army Geniuses are looking to do and responding to it accordingly. What do you think about this trend of supports putting sentries underneath the enemy outpost? I'm like, but it's gonna get dewarded.
Trend? Is this a trend? What's going on?
I've seen it a lot.
Why would someone do that?
It catches some of the unorthodox wards a lot easier.
Okay.
Because, you know, high ground,
Radiant's
it's
courier
obvious at
has
this
been
stage,
killed.
right? So it's a little bit more challenging. Yokem gets his courier killed. He knows that he doesn't have too long to stay on this bottom side of the map. He's gonna have to be a little bit careful here as the double support's starting to roam into him. Man, the Spidey senses are insane. Able to get the jump away just in time.
I think we haven't really spoken too much about this carry-to-carry matchup with the Phantom Assassin versus the Morphling. And I think one thing to mention is the fact that PA is not as strong of a laner. And the fact that he is in a position that he is at the moment is... There we go. Ember and Skryth Mage combining together exactly what we want to see in down bottom. Oh, Yokem is able to stop Wami TPing out. So they'll at least be able to kill off the Mars. He's able to buy the Blink Dagger before he dies. Silver linings, I suppose, but you do force a lot of rotations down bottom.
Nigma are totally happy with that. I think, you know, they made the rotation, sure, but you're able to get a kill onto a core. And Mizu's going to continuously try and push this one in, force another rotation back from Army Geniuses, and I think whoever they look to TP down towards this bottom side, they're either A, going to get a kill because Yokem, he's got his crosshairs on this game. He's been landing arrows left, right, and center. As soon as anyone shows on that bottom side of the map, if it is through a TP, I think they're just going to make a play around this mid lane. You can see Alacrity just trying to divide their attention up a little bit here.
Just 3 measly swings on the tower, decent amount of damage. It's just a nuisance of that notification, like your tower's under siege. Come on, guys, someone needs to come over. And now they've got a full creep wave under, and they're gonna look to smoke up. Yokem gonna look to break this. They'll spear push back. The burst has to be perfect, and it is. A beautiful reveal from Wami's Blink, and they won't get anything else out of it, though. You really want to start finding some objectives, considering bottom still hasn't even fallen yet. And DB is going to be pretty cautious. It's just Yokem setting up at the moment. A stray arrow of the nighttime. It's not really going to offer much kill threat as Mizu just leaps over. Beautiful use of the Tumbler's Toy.
Very nicely done. That's always the big thing for Mizu, right? He always seems to be very, very quick on his fingers and able to dodge out a lot of these gank attempts. But, I mean, I don't hate the fact that they were able to kill the Kunkka, right? And a big part of that was
they might
also...
kill Yokem too. Another nice reaction. Nigma, yeah, they're really quick on the fingers here. Mizu with all his blinks usually, and Yokem that leap away.
Mid lane is pushing in, though. You've you've got this siege creep still alive. Let's see how much attention they're looking to put on it with Azura. It's just trying to get the tomato creep to tank up a few of those tower hits, but it's not going to work out this time. And I really like this Veil build on Lim. Provides him a little bit of stats, of course. He's even been given over the broom handle for himself just to make sure that he's not getting instantly burst down in a lot of these team fights. Even just the straight Tidebringer can end up slaying him if he's out of position, but it combines together with basically every single one of their heroes.
This should make my life easier.
It definitely has to be concerned that Army Geniuses haven't even thought about going into Radiant's Triangle to either block, get vision down, contest stacks, whatever. In your dream has been free farming, and what do you know? There's a Midas on your position 5 Enchantress. Paulson's pretty goddamn farm, 4,100 net worth at the moment, and I don't hate it because I really feel like this game's going late. And if you've got an Enchantress that can maybe do a decent amount of damage and you just stand his ground through the middle of the fight, that could be make it or break it.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see Paulson go the 4-staff next, right? It's still just as good as it was previously. That's a lot of damage mid lane.
Yep.
End comes at a price. Man overboard.
Even just the extra attack speed coming through from the Hellbear Smasher there. Gonna look to try and tank up a little bit of those tower hits.
Tower is under attack.
But yeah, I still feel like it's a great 4-staff game overall. Good against Skywrath, good against the chains, good to, if you're quick again, to be able to get out of the arena. And it can even snap the Soulbind if you use it right on the edge.
Dire converging on the area.
Middle tower is
Trying
under
to...
attack.
Jesus, that was so close.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Trying to find some
Radiant's top
form of
tower
setup
is
here to
under
keep that
attack.
tower alive, but Radiant there. Poke damage from afar is very difficult for Army Geniuses to deal with, where they're pretty heavy committal with Mars and Ember jumping in. I've got a...
Who's the last Enchantress that we saw really go like a bit more of that right-click style? Would you say it's like Skem when he was playing on Neon?
Probably, yeah. It just feels like it's really that holy locket, hood, tank up, be as survivable as possible. This roaming ward, eat abilities, eat damage, and that's your job.
And you can still do that, you know, but you can just go something like the Hurricane Pipe, for example, right? Lots of great stats, provides you with the extra attack speed, and yeah, you don't even need to go full points into the impetus, in my eyes.
We're going to start to see Army Geniuses group up. DB's got Lincolns, so he feels a little bit more comfortable with showing up to some of these engagements.
No Wummies around, though. You just blink forward to try and get a bit of a stun off onto Alacrity. Let's see if he's able to get the Blink Dagger off in time.
Oh, they're going to try and set up here, TB. Able to dodge one, dodge just a second, and now I don't think there'll be a defense.
Look at Paulson, though. He's just walking in front of the tier 2 tower, trying to distract a little bit. Is he trying to block up camp?
Azura TP top, and he doesn't have a remnant as well to connect to the team, so it's going to be DB as the Inkspell target. They'll look to blow up the Murano. They're able to do so.
I just don't think they have the damage just yet, though, right? Like, you've got a Lincoln Sphere on this morph. Not a ton of right-click damage. Maybe if he goes into the E-Blade first, already had the Eagle Song, the agility's enough for them to take Roche, but I think without it, they're not going to have the damage for that purpose.
Okay, this is huge timing, though, from Radiant. You got BKB on Mizu. You got Orchid just completed as well. Alacrity? They've still got BKB himself, but you see Army Geniuses a little bit hesitant with how they're posturing. As meanwhile, Polison's just solo zoning away DB from his own Ancient, so that's very cool. What a support.
Radiant's top tower is under
I mean, that's the thing as well, right? There's
Oh,
so many
Wummy. Oh, great timing with the BKB Alacrity. It's going to completely mitigate the speed factor, and now Mars is dragged back. He's going to be able to find the arena before the death and still have to be cautious, though, nonetheless, with the BKBs. But the commitment inside the river, Azura DB really looking to try and get on top of the Phantom Assassin and mitigate as much damage he can output as possible. It'll cost them all of their supports, however, but still the cause. They've got plenty left in the tank, as now they'll turn their attention and blow up the Razor. As Army Geniuses, a 3-for-2 trade, but we are starting to see how a little bit more confident they are to take these fights.
I mean, speaking of the supports, Paulson and Joker were not big parts of any of that fight. Like, Paulson was just solo pushing down on this bottom side of the map, not even going to be able to claim this tier 1 tower. Might even get denied through if Azura feels like it. But Yeah, you have to wonder like how much that could have potentially changed things around. He's going into a bit more of a what is that? Like a tanky style build?
Who's this? Is Polo, you saying?
Yeah, vitality booster.
I really just feel like this game's gonna go late game, and Midas will help a lot. I mean, he's got some okay talents.
If he's not careful, that's going to turn into a Vanguard instead of the Hood.
Oh, you don't want to Vanguard this game? Vanguard hater or what?
Enchantress? Never.
What the hell? Alright, so there we go. Another BKB completed. We've seen a lot of commitments this series on the early BKBs from a lot of the cores. So 3 at the moment for the boys on Nigma.SEA. This is a big factor because one of the ways that Morphling counters the Phantom Assassin is just a low health pool, and you're able to blow her up with that shotgun. So now the fact that PA has the BKB, it's going to give her a lot of protection, but she has to burst down a lot of these key components in the Grimstroke and probably the Skyath Mage to get rid of that burst. And once BKB expires, then you have to look to play the outskirts and rely on kind of the Conquer and the Razor to be that meat shield.
And it means you do need to go for these style of plays, right? It's another 4-man smoke. I didn't quite catch if it was underneath an observer ward at the time.
They might run into DB. Azura as well is going to look to pop it. Reveal the Orca, but he's still got the BKB. He's wasted it pretty early on. Mizu's going to be protected as well. Not the start of the fight that either team are looking for. Who wants to find that second angle in? That's perfect. Early BKB usage instantly now. Nigma.SEA, they have to retreat away from the area. Dire.
Instant smoke.
Beautiful smoke. They recognize this. BKB's forced out. They've got an opportunity now to burst away the Phantom Assassin. But even, my God, these plays from either side. Polison, the recognition that they're going to look to smoke up. Why do I always see? There's something about these high-level teams that the supports always read multiple smoke maneuvers in a game. Like, that is the best death you can get.
I mean, it's such a low death timer as well. Again, just finished up the E-Blade, so might have the damage. He's taking a fair amount himself, and actually going to get the pick off here.
That'll be an easy one. Force a little bit of distance, maybe seeing if the rest of Radiant heavily commit. Alacrity, even popping his own BKB, but you see the caution on In Your Dream. He's hesitant, playing the outskirts, finding the avenue to jump in, but it's just not open yet. With that magic immunity on cooldown, he's going to be so cautious of how it looks to jump. Conker just X's her back straight away. Oh, yes.
It's cheeky. For me, like, it's a 6 or a 7k net worth lead for Nigma Galaxy.
Doesn't feel like that.
It doesn't feel like it. And it also feels like, to me, that there should be very few instances where these supports are dying on Army Geniuses, right? Because they don't have an amazing gap close. And so...
mid lane. Don't want to pop that BKB.
Yeah. It's not going to be there. But, yeah, I mean, it needs to be like an unforced error coming through from Army Geniuses if these supports are going to die, or it needs to be a smoke play that catches them out, because there is literally no reason for them to be on the front lines.
He went Vanguard and then he had I was going to interrupt you and be like, are you sure he's not going to go Vanguard? Okay, he disassembled. That's okay. Quick fingers. So you're speaking about the force staffs being a big factor? Do you want to continue?
Oh, I mean, force staffs are a big factor, but like the Grimstroke and the Sky should not be dying at all in this game. Like, if you die, it's because your cores have died first. If they're dying, you know, to start the engagement off, I think it's because Lim and Varize are in a bad position. And I feel like you've just got so many ways to be able to have someone else frontlining for you, right? You've got this Morphling who's gone into a Linken's. You've got an Ember Spirit that has a BKB, and of course Mars, very tanky, nearly finished up his own BKB, and you've got no one that's great at gap close. You've seen how scared In Your Dream is about going in first onto the back lines, and I feel like the first time that we're going to see him actually look to commit with that is when he finishes up this this Desolator for himself. It'll probably coincide with the time that he's level 20. He'll have the extra -3 armor corruption, and then maybe look to, you know, burst down one of these or both of these supports before anyone even realizes what's happened.
Mizu's got to pop a BKB to TP out from DB's aggression, so we're getting really low on the duration here, down to 6 for the Razor. And Polison's posturing up pretty far forward as well. They've got a ridiculous amount of magic burst to look to blow up the Enchantress. They haven't done so just yet, but the Grimstroke's the target. Off to the edge of the fight there. They're able to do enough to bring him down. No real BKBs forced out yet. Wami in your dream simultaneously going to use their own. But Wami brought down from a big crit. Army Genius, can they still stick around though? Alacrity's going to be okay. Looking to continue posturing aggressively on the high ground. Azuro's got some remnants. A BKB himself. But it's literally just the name of the game. That's it. BKBs. There's so much magic damage. And I think the big issue we're seeing right now from Radiant is just the lack of control. Like, they're going to look to jump in, but Dire can reset. You've got Waveform, Soulbind to Kite, Arena if BKB they can get through, but if BKBs are lacking, or just on the other heroes, maybe the Enchantress and Mirana to limit some of their control to help them get out. Ember's very mobile. So I feel like there's big issues right now from Nigma.SEA on if we really do not see them get full utilization out of this refresher from Mizu and the BKBs, exactly what we saw last fight, where as soon as that was used, Army Geniuses smoke. And that's just going to be literally this game. Like, we are going to keep highlighting that because that's going to be the story of these next kind of 3-4 fights until some more damage gets picked up where they can burst them down before BKBs or some control.
That's the big thing. That's what I was about to say. Like, it's all about the burst potential, right? You've got the Desolator now completed on the PA. Alacrity is very farmed. Like, he is second on net worth right now. He's level 20, so he's got the extra Tidebringer cleave damage. He's even finished up a Chrysalis for himself. So there is a lot of damage that can come out from Nigma Galaxy right now, and it's just all going to be on the positioning coming through. Maybe they're trying to wait for Mizu to get that full refresher, but to me, it feels like they don't really need it. They just need to take the right fight, maybe get some deep vision that Army Geniuses weren't expecting.
Wami really wants to jump. There we go. Force BKB, but Mizu and in your dream.
He's just
They've dropped the arena. It doesn't look like it's going to matter, though. Mizu's doing a ridiculous amount of damage, but Wami, thanks to the bulwark, they turn it back around. And now this could be an avenue for Azura. He's going to look to use the Aghanims, find the stragglers, really wants to deal with the rear supports. Alacrity, it's not the one you want to heavily focus on here.
Over to the Flame Guard. Just picks up a regen.
Oh, who do they jump in? Set.
There we go.
Grimshaw crit it down from afar. In your dream, he's looking for more. Who else can he find? The easy targets. Zero's got BKB. A couple of charges left available as well.
You can see there the Sari's coming up from Baris. Again, you always have to be so careful about being on the front lines. You want to make kills happen, of course, but you've just got so much threat of dying incredibly quickly against this PA and the Kunkka that you just have to be super passive. You need to allow the rest of your team to do the work. I guess he was kind of forced into that situation because Wami was so low. But ends up giving up his life.
And that one pick gives them Roche too. I really thought Dire were going to stick around. I was just going to highlight that. Past 5 minutes, it's felt like no one has left this top kind of river area because of how important maybe 3 kills into Roche will be. But that's another game where we see Nigma.SEA get a free Roche on, and I really don't feel like they should have been able to.
Poor Paulison just ends up going down again. He says, oh, they got some vision up there. He's just acting as a bit of a sentry ward that doesn't actually show any of the wards right now. He's just giving them gold instead.
So like a roaming ward? What do you mean a sentry ward that doesn't show? What is that?
I'm just talking crap.
Okay, so a roaming ward. I mean, we're okay, he got Strength Morph. He's going to be okay. Wami, though, has to pop a BKB. A beautiful timing once again from In Your Dream. He's going to continue to push back Army Genius. Just keep in mind, they have the Aegis advantage as well. So the Phantom Assassin, big issues until DB shows up. They're going to have to force the buyback here. They've got the TP1 location as well. DB's going to be cautious. One crit brings him down to half, but he's still got the attribute shift to play around with. But still, they're looking to bounce back and forth. Play the outskirts of the fight until they jump on forward. As Phantom Assassin brought down Mizu and Alacrity, looking to try and clean up the fight, however. DB playing with the waveform, still 3700 health they have to go through. Mizu's diving incredibly deep for this. 174 damage stolen. DB's going to turn back into the Morphling limb without the Mystic Flare, but it's not going to matter. They'll get rid of Mizu, somehow keeping DB alive. That's a gigantic fight for the boys on Dire.
Great quick fingers coming through there from Lim as well with the Ghost Scepter. They're trying to go for a solo kill here onto the Skywrath who just bought back, but having to be a little bit careful here. Tumbler's Toy certainly helps.
Quick and easy kill. You try and get that dieback. It'll cost you the life on the Mirana, who in fact, that's her own dieback. So this deficit Man, it's been cut almost in half, and Army Geniuses, you just see. Guess what happens? BKB's on cooldown, they penalize.
Gotcha.
To me, it all feels like it's a baiting game right now, right? Like they're just trying to bait them into going that little bit too deep, to committing that BKB, to going in on a support, and it's just about who is going to have the better mechanical skills to enable that sort of turnaround. We've seen multiple times now a quick blink away, the use of a Ghost Scepter, you know, a quick arrow connecting in onto something that it probably shouldn't. And well, that's how close this game is right now. Tense stuff for Nigma Galaxy fans, and what a win this would be for Army Geniuses. Right now, they're sitting 1-3, I believe, with their series score, so it would give them that little bit of an extra gap between the bottom two teams to feel comfortable. They're probably going to be safe.
He's gonna catch the soul mine before he dies at least, but still, in your dream, NGX.SEA looking to jump the backline. The BKBs have been used earlier on, but it feels like Army Geniuses taking a fight on Radiant's territory is going to be too awkward for them as they'll look to reevaluate this area.
In your dream, he's debating what he wants to go for. He's gone back and forth between Satanic and Basher and Aghanim Scepter a few times now with his quick buy before finally committing into the point booster, wanting to just get that little bit of... He was good at being able to pick off the Grimstroke to be able to start that fight, but it's just to give him that extra use of the Blur, the extra use of the Phantom Strike in really quick succession to be able to take out the Skywrath Mage. I think that's what he feels is lacking right now, and well, he's pretty close to being able to pick it up, only 200 gold away.
You can use Blur through Change, yeah? I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to.
Think I'm some sort of core player?
Alright, so it's at least going to give him a way to purge off the chains. I think as well just a reduction in blur in general is really nice. 10 seconds, you can play with the vision advantage, shoving out the lanes, because you see it's difficult. If In Your Dream shows he can never take objectives, and if he shows too far in the lane, you got Ember up in your face, you got Mars up in your face, offering kill threat, and they're hunting Wommy. He might find Mizu, they've got the cancellation. And In Your Dream, it's going to look to maybe chuck out some daggers. Mizu's even sticking around. I mean, he would look to do as much damage as possible. In Your Dream assassinates a support, and Mizu gets another kill, and they're not done. In Your Dream, Jesus Christ, man, relax. The crit damage is coming out of nowhere. This Phantom Assassin needs another one. He won't even find it, but it doesn't matter. Mizu stolen 151 damage. Whoa! That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage, and that's the effectiveness of that BKB. You saw it right there. Sorry, not the BKB, the Aghanim Scepter. Immediately able to take the Grimstroke straight away onto the next one. And In Your Dream really starting to flourish here now that he's picked that up. Also getting that level 25. So the Stifling Dagger is going to be pretty damn effective, not just for, of course, the damage, but another way just to easily get rid of that Lincolns on the Morphling.
Bounty!
And we're seeing how easy these kills are starting to get for In Your Dream. There's got to be Ghost Scepters as a consideration, and already Grimstroke, Ghost Scepter, Aghanim Shard, and the Aeon Disc. For the Skywrath Mage, I think he just completed Ghost Scepter. It doesn't have too much gold. I didn't see his inventory beforehand. I think he was the one that got one hit.
Yes. He had it up at this team fight up towards the top side of the map here. So... he had it at that point, but I agree. He just needs to consistently go into a lot of these defensive items. He had his Aghanim Scepter queued up for the longest time, but I feel like right now, you're just going to get one hit still, even if you go Ag. So just Aeon Disc, that's the name of the game for Skywrath.
Well, this is dope. Quickening Charm for the Razor. Might be in some trouble, but he's really beefy. We saw what happened last time. They've got an outpost nearby. See if we can find that angle in. Of course, it being nighttime is going to be a bit of an issue. And DB is going to show down bottom. So, I mean, Mizu is starting to connect there. And in fact, he's still going to show. Oh, DB out. Truce not again. Oh, my lord.
Just gets out. Yeah, he's just like, look, kind of like the PA, right? She wants as many active items as possible, or active abilities. So went into the Aghanim Shard next. It's not going to stop anything in terms of the break, but just an extra ability, right? All that pure damage that's able to go through, and yeah, just everything being refreshed consistently with the use of that Aghanim Scepter. Same sort of deal with the Razor, right? He wants to go as many active items as possible. Shiva's Guard coming next because he's just going to get a secondary use out of it.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And even now in your dream, he's able to man-fight a little bit more. He's backpacked the Orb of Corrosion. Wouldn't surprise me if he sold it soon as he starts his build into the Satanic.
Still Morphling's top of the net worth. And can you see this guy carrying this game? Like, he's ridiculously farmed. Butterfly recently completed, working on the MKB next item. He's already level 25. Can he do it for Army Geniuses?
I think there's the potential for it. It's just getting harder and harder
you're
now.
about to lose barracks.
Radiant's bottom
Well,
barracks are under
that
attack.
helps.
Is DB gonna stick around for the full set? No, he's out.
Dire's top tower
I think
is
maybe
under
he would have
attack.
if he had the Grimstroke Shard for the Inkswell there, but just not opting for it just yet. Clearly still needing to be able to pick up that Ghost Scepter for himself has a higher priority for him.
100%. You need those defensive items this game. If you can't get your abilities off, then what's the point of looking at itemizing to upgrading them for Varese and Conqueror as well? Just hit the level 25 too. He's got that -2 second reduction with the Tidebringer, Daedalus, and he's working the Hex next item. I love this pickup. We're seeing kind of the issues with them finding that initial jump that can't be BKB'd off like the Orchid. So they're going to continue to posture around their high ground though. The rest of Radiant trying to connect with the Enchantress, but they've already lost Polison. But an instant buyback looking to rejoin the fight. They're targeting down Wummy the moment. Once again, soak and dry all the damage. Mizu just in the middle of the backline here. He's killed off the Grimstroke, but it's got to be cautious nonetheless. A big advantage here thanks to the numbers. Nigma going to look to reevaluate, but Alacrity, in fact, he's in the middle of it all. He's going to try and push Lim back. DP and Azura.
Nice
The
arrow.
Morphling and the Ember, the arrow is on point thanks to the X setup. And we are just seeing, though, the ease that Nigma.SEA have to get rid of the supports.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like I was saying before, the third item refresh, it just provides so much, right? You just commit your body on the front lines. They can't kill you. You're sucking damage away from the person that is going to be moving quite slowly. And he's even nearly finished up that Shiva's Guard, so he's even going to have a lot of that reduced turnaround potential. You don't want to pop the BKB just to be able to do damage to Mizu, but it kind of feels like you're nearly going to be forced to.
So does he go the Eye of the Storm target talent at 25 with this build?
I think so. I think you're not really all that worried about doing damage yourself. You've got a Conqueror and a PA for that. It's just about providing that armor reduction to as many heroes as possible.
Sure. And would you even consider like an Aghanims after the Shivas?
I think you could. You could even... I wouldn't hate to see something like a Satanic either, to be honest. Just something very tanky, provides you that basic Dispel, which is always nice, and to be able to get it twice, of course, even more effective. But
Army Geniuses again by their outpost. They've lost their vision advantage. And E-Blade's going to give some opportunity for Wummy to get the BKB, but still, look at the damage. My god. Spirit Vessel and then their own E-Blade almost takes away 2/3 of his health, and this is now a window for Nigma.SEA to fall back into Roche.
Polison again, just with his positioning right underneath the ward, wants to make sure that any kind of smoke attempt just gets immediately scouted out. So,
They've got so much control of this area.
yep.
And they don't see him as well. Azura's going to jump. It's a little bit too late, however. Aegis already snatched up, and once again, Mizu is going to look to push back Wummy, cancelling out the Mars factor throughout the team fight. Razor's putting in so much work this game, but DB still, he's looking able to play around with the replicate. He himself has stolen 151 damage, but Army Geniuses looking to reevaluate how they can take the team fight. In fact, they're completely getting out of dodge. As Morphling TP's out, and the rest of Die are going to do the same.
It's still a success though for Nigma.SEA. You get the kill, you get the Roche, all the objectives, you still retain control over the jungle, and then of course just doing Conquer things. X marks himself towards the bottom side of the map, pushes out the wave a little bit, and now you can look to cement your control over the Dire's right hand side, or even just go straight in onto the high ground. Why not? They didn't actually commit the refresher there on Mizu, so he can look to just join the rest of his team and push up onto this high ground if he wants.
In your dream? Let's just see if I can somehow get a crit back to back and just 2-hit the Ember. Why not?
Might have been trying to bait out the buyback coming through from the Mars.
Yep. Don't you love just having an Alpha Wolf chasing you around? Very, very cool. Thank you, Enchantress, who has... What's he going for? Arcane? Is he just going to go Greaves? Oh, Aeon. Okay, never.
Around with the he was going. Does he have the mech completed? He did have a mech queued up for the longest time, so I think maybe he was considering going into that Guardian Greaves. But yeah, I feel like the Aeon disc, just make yourself hard to kill, right? Because there's no amazing nullifier buyers on Army Genius's side. I feel like after the Abyssal Blade, that's what's gonna be what the PA goes for next. So game's just going to continue to be easier and easier to play if you're a Nigma.SEA support, and harder if you're a Genius.
And that's definitely the issue, or I should say the comparison between either team supports, where Enchantress and Yokam, so Mirana and the Enchantress are very difficult to kill, and then the Grimstroke and the Skyath Mage, completely different story. I was not a fan of the Razor. I've been hearing about this refresher build and just go treads, BKB, or phase boots, whatever, BKB refresher, and you just absolutely destroy teamfights. You run down supports, they can do absolutely jack, and I'm really seeing this come into play now. I was concerned about how the lane would be set up. It didn't seem like it was too good of a winning matchup. You want to see Razor as a dominator, but my god, Mizu, his hero pool is just continuing to grow. As Dire, smoked up, in your dream. Again, looking to really deal with the supports. They're currently smoked on the backline, but now in your dream, he sneaked them out. Instantly going to look to jump, but bye-bye supports. Wommy's going to fall as well. In your dream, such a nuisance. Nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. Free food at the moment here are the Army Geniuses duo and the supports. And our DB, he's looking to get out to safety as well. Forced to pop a very defensive BKB, but 2 heroes down. No buyback available.
2 siege creeps as well here with double damage, with the Aegis still for another 2 minutes. This is almost definitely a lane of Rax gone. You can't contest this without the BKB on the Morphling.
It's like you just have to give it up. Love to see it. Dibby, look to make him work for it. Try and clean off all the creeps. They got another wave coming in shortly down bottom, so they won't be worried about the about the backdoor protection.
It's just another one of these games where they're very hard to kill. We kind of...
They're on top of the Ember. I think DB just gave over the Lincolns, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's another one of these games where they're very hard to kill. We saw it in game number 1 with Nigma.SEA with their 4 strength heroes plus a...
DB stuck around. BKB on cooldown for another 10 seconds here. In your dream, looking to just deal with the objectives instead. And Azura is making as much space as possible. Now Mizu once again is continuing being a thorn in the side of the Mars. And but the Phantom Assassin with this space is going to look to deal with the backline support. So diving deep under the T4 towers, but it looks like they have absolutely zero cares in the world. As Nigma.SEA accumulate a 36,000 net worth lead, 4 heroes down, no buybacks available, and they're going to head into the break with a 4-0 series count. And Danog, I tell you what, they are feeling freaking good with this start. A team that is, I mean, they are without a doubt the team we're looking out for to make that first or second qualification spot to Division 1. Because with how they're playing, I'd be so surprised if they don't make it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just felt like everything worked that time around. Alacrity, of course, having a fantastic lane against the Ember Spirit. You know, Azura, he only ended up dying the one time, but it just felt completely different from what we saw in these previous games where how many times did we actually see an Inkswell onto the Ember Spirit to be able to start out a team fight where it wasn't picking off, let's say, Polison, right? Like, it felt like he soaked up almost every single one of those ganks. He was always just that presence on the front lines with his team 3 or so seconds behind, always able to connect through if they weren't picture perfect with all of their spell usages, and even just baiting out the things like the Mars Spear, right? So that even if you drop the arena, you're not all that concerned. You don't even need to pop the BKB in that sort of situation. And, well, Mizu, despite the fact that it wasn't a good Razor game, it's one of those times where it feels like if that's how you're going to be able to play it, almost every game is a good Razor game if you allow him to get into this 3rd item refresher and you just run at him. You don't commit onto him. It's always going to end badly for you. So good win for them, and pretty convincing.
pretty convincing. That game, that series, what are we saying? They're pretty convincing for.
Well, I know you're going to be looking forward to this Razor discussion. You said you weren't thinking that it would eventually happen because you were tipping Army Geniuses. I did as well. I mean, look, when you look at it on paper, you see Morphling 1 death, Ember Spirit 1 death, everyone else ridiculous amounts of deaths, right? Because that's just, it seemed like whoever Mizu was charging died. And yeah, eventually it just got to that stage where In Your Dream could go in on the backlines. It felt like they missed their big window there on Army Genius's side through a laning stage that probably went a lot worse than we were expecting it to. The first blood, of course, but also a number of kills in the side lanes that probably shouldn't have happened. And then it just snowballed into so much more with, maybe you could have been afforded another 5 minutes to perhaps get another BKB available on your team, use that to go into the enemy lineup, use that to play a little bit more aggressively with your Ember Spirit, but just never happened.
Well, I feel like, again, whenever we watch Nigma Galaxy, there's always props to be given from every player. I think also I was doubting the background, saying you seem to always jinx Kami-sama. Apparently that didn't happen this time. So there you go. Congratulations. You're not too much of the caster curse. Also,
Never in doubt.
Never in doubt. Never in doubt. Man, Paulson did so much this game with, I think, with mainly the creeps early, with how he was able to be such a nuisance at scouting out stacks where they were farming, taking a lot more of the aggressive farm. We saw him cutting that mid wave a couple times as well when Army Geniuses won some fights. I think just Paulson did everything right. He secured the lane for In Your Dream, and it just,
again, it was just about waiting until you got those, until PA had BKB Desolator and until Razor had BKB Refresher. That's all they needed, period. And then as soon as that happened, it felt like the game was over. And that's really what these supports did. They threw their bodies in there. A lot of people would say, 1 and 8 Enchantress, horrible, what a feeder. But nah, Paulson did everything right that game. Always in the right position to break smokes, playing under wards, and honestly taking a lot more farm than he should have gotten. That early Midas pick, they didn't punish it at all, which was kind of surprising to me. So really well-deserved victory for Nigma Galaxy.SEA.
yeah, they had to work for it heading to that game 3. You got Brood picked, so interesting. Very interesting to see how it slipped past them as well, considering Army Geniuses you're big fans of the Brood. They always have been, especially with Mamang Dyer when he was on the roster. But we will have an interview coming up shortly. We're just waiting to see who it's going to be from Nigma Galaxy.SEA. But again, I mean, it's been, what a start to the season we've had here. The Winter Tour for Division 2. We've got, like you said, there's really a top of the table and a bottom of the table. And
maybe a mid.
There's a little bit of a mid as well. Sure. So there's 3 teams top, 3 teams bottom, a little bit in the mid. And that's kind of a lot of the time what it is, except for China was that 5-way tie. Let me find out who's coming.
Extreme and Magma ended up going through for China on the last day. It lasted all the way up until the last day. And it honestly feels like it's going to be pretty similar for the Southeast Asian region. It'll go right up until the end. We don't know when exactly the top teams are going to be playing against each other.
Liquipedia says early
it's not there yet. It's not there yet, though.
Okay.
The Nigma.SEA, Polaris,
Screw you. I want to speak to Mizu. We got Mizu on the line. Let's bring him in. Hold us a second. All right. Mizu, hello. Congratulations. Can you hear us first off?
Yep, I can hear you guys.
Awesome.
What about, you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay, Danog, this time I'm starting with questions. Firstly, I was very intrigued about the Razor pick. When I was seeing it, when you guys initially drafted it, I was intrigued what your thought process was. Was it initially you guys were wanting to play it as a position 3? Were you keeping it open? Were you thinking it was going to be played mid versus the Ember? When did you really decide of the position for it?
I think when we picked it, we already decided that it was going to be a flex pick for all 3 of us, because it's good against the Ember mid, first of all. And their supports can't really do anything to the Razor once he gets a BKB, regardless of the role. Yeah, I think that's when we decided where to put our Razor and take it. It's a very strong hero right now, this patch as well.
Yeah, the build looks exceptionally crazy with how you're able to just control multiple heroes with just beelining it at them, and BKB static link, they can do nothing. And I mean, I think Danog and I can both say we've been growing a fan of you through the past year or so when we've really seen you grow into this position 3 role. I mean, it just felt like it really feels like it's your home. We see you turn games around on heroes like the Darkseer. We've seen you build new heroes as well, like, you know, the Razor. We haven't seen you play the Earthshaker till earlier on in this division. And I'm just intrigued on like maybe a new player that's looking to swap roles. Like, what were some of the main things you focused on? Were you watching a lot of replays? Were you playing a lot of pubs? Was there anything you were doing at a higher level than the others?
I think I was like playing a lot of pubs at the beginning, and if I do not know how to play like a certain hero, like maybe at the start I did not really know how to play Darkseer, so I was like looking at mind control, see like how he plays Darkseer, how he plays the lane, and everything like that. Because the hero is like kind of hard to play right now, especially with all the like strong dominant safe laners.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's how I ease myself into the off lane position. Just
So what you're
mostly
saying
watching
is,
and playing.
I
Yep.
just need to open my friends list and have a look at what you're playing in pubs, and that's what we can expect to see in the next little bit. I won't reveal anything, but again, big congratulations on the win, going 4-0 into the holiday break. What are you guys going to plan to do over that sort of period? I know previously you felt like you were playing in every single tournament that you got the opportunity to, but you've taken a step back now. Does that mean that you're just going to have a period where you're not even scrimming at all over the holiday period, where you get to go and see some family, or is it something else?
I think uh for Singaporeans we are kind of like with our family most of the time, but I think everyone is like going to take a break for a bit because like we don't really have tournament until like next year, like
Hmm.
early next year. So like there's no reason for us to like scream so hard because there might even be a patch, right? Who
Right.
knows? Like that's something we will have to see. But yeah, I think most of us are going to just take a break for a bit and then come back refresh and more motivated than ever and try to play for the upper division.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was the thing that really came out from our previous interview that we had with Paulison, was that the real reason that we saw a little bit of a drop in your performance, let's say 3 months ago, was just due to that motivation. So, do you feel like having that complete break is going to provide you with that little bit of an extra boost that you need to be hungry again once the DPC starts up again in the new year?
Actually, for us, I think it's every time we take a break, we come back, we actually lose to everyone. That's what I realized from our
Mm.
team at least. So I'm not too sure if like a break actually is what we need, but I think forcing everyone to like play all the way until the new year is like a really long time and just not. I don't think that's like the thing to do, regardless.
Makes sense to me.
Well,
Cool. You were mentioning the patch. Let's say that Ice Frog or Gaben might be listening in. Is there anything that you want to put on your wish list for, a holiday present, maybe?
Let me think. I can't really think of like.
What do you hate coming up against?
he
I hate
wants he
Weaver,
wants
for
Naga as a
example.
viable 3. That's what he wants.
That's true, actually. That would be
Uh,
good for you.
Give Naga a song talent, that would be nice. Yeah, that would actually help her, at least try to play in the off lane role. But I think no certain safe laners, I guess. Like there are quite a lot of really strong safe laners right now in the patch. So my dream is to not play against any of those, like Razor especially.
Yeah, sounds good to me. All
Well,
right. Well, thank you very much for joining us again, Mizu. And wait, have they actually fixed your portrait in game again? I know they fixed it last time around, but then they still messed it up this time around again. Have they fixed it again?
Think so.
All right. Good. Good. That's what we want to see.
let's go. Real Miz is showing. Congratulations once again. Even though you're apparently versing very difficult safe lane heroes, it seems to be that you are dominating a majority in all of the games here. You guys 4-0 to kick off Division 1. It's been a treat to watch. Enjoy the break. Come back even stronger for the second half of the season. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for the interview. Bye bye.
Thanks, Mizu. Then there we go. The first half of the winter tour done and dusted here. I mean, it's been an absolute treat as well. We've seen teams come out hot and fast. Polaris, Nigma.SEA tied at the top a moment with a 4-0 map count. Shortly behind them is Ragdoll 3-0. And then there's some teams that maybe didn't fare as well as some people were expecting. Talon 1 and 2 in 5th, and even above them is Lilgun at 2 and 1. So it's the race to those 2 qualification spots is well and truly on, and we get to do it all again in a couple of weeks. Of course, a bit of a break. Everyone's going to love the joyous season. It's going to be fun to have a little bit of a rest time, and everyone will come back. And I wonder if we will have that patch.
Never know. Could happen.
Could happen. Do you want the patch? You ready for the patch?
Of course I do.
You want the patch. You want the patch. We want more Dota. We'll be back in a couple more weeks, though, for the continuation of the DPC for the Winter Tour Division 2. There is more Dota going on at the moment over on Beyond the Summit. Beyond the Summit 2, that is the Eastern European matches. I believe Windstrike and Gambit are battling it out at the moment. So, yeah, that's on Division. That's on BTS 2 if you guys are looking to watch any more Dota for the rest of the night. But for some SEA action, Division 1 and Division 2 will be kicking back off. I think it's around early January. So, couple week break, something like that. And then we'll see you guys all back in the midst for Division 2 presented by Beyond the Summit.
Happy holidays.